Hello. From about 1982 to 1986, 5 young men named Bob Ducanic, Howard Rosenorn, Andy Szymanski, Mike Weber, and Brian Johnson formed a modest little film studio known only to themselves as Sick Mind Productions. They were responsible for a wide variety of cinematic shenanigans that never saw the light of day, long believed to be lost to the ages until a recent discovery was made. While excavating the foundation of Johnson's former residence, the current owner unearthed a mysterious container. Within it, a surprising discovery: a pile of original Super 8mm films. With beautifully transferred HD film footage, a sparkling new soundtrack, and for the first time, real editing, the result is finally ready to be unveiled. A spoof of the 1978 cult classic Mondo exploitation film Faces of Death. What you're about to witness is the result of pure, untamed creativity, an abundance of youthful enthusiasm, and obviously a lack of girlfriends. So, after 30 plus years, please sit back and enjoy Face the Dead.
Modern medicine can work wonders, but not always. That's when I come in. I'm a coroner. That patient died because this organ failed. I don't know why it failed. And to be honest with you, I don't give a damn. Will you take this away?
Many years ago, I was plagued with a reoccurring dream. There was only one face that I could recognize, that of a young traveler named Myron Weem. I had no reason for this dream. It resembled nothing that I had ever experienced in my lifetime. This dream was just the beginning of a journey that would take me around the world in the search of an understanding of death.
You know, in some countries, they do things more disgusting than what I did just now. They actually take live rats and they put its head in a table, and then they beat it to death, and then they eat it. Oh, you think I'm making this up, huh?
This interesting restaurant provides a culinary experience that I find most unique.
Hey, don't manhandle me, you bastard!
Feeling that his guests are comfortable within his domain, the waiter brings out the house specialty.
I'm not getting in there!
Secured in a special trap, the rat is now ready to become the main dish.
What the hell? Okay, guys, not funny, I want to go now,
After the gruesome ritual has ended, the skull is carved open for the delicate brains within. Throughout history, it has been believed that eating the brains of the sacred rat brings one closer to God. When I asked the man with the hearty appetite why he enjoyed his meal so much, he replied,
Jesus Christ, boy, I don't know.
Disgusting, huh? Well, not as disgusting as this. You know, my job is a coroner. And I bet you're wondering, well, what the heck does a coroner do? Well, I figured that you nosy little snot rags would want to know exactly what that was. So what I did was I took my little camera into an actual coroner's office and I started filming. Sure, they were a little bit ticked. I don't care. I'm selling these videos like hotcakes. Watch your monitor.
"This is the coroner's office. 24 hours a day, its doors must remain open because death has no time schedule. This homicide victim has been involved in unspeakable violence. The cadaver is placed in the hands of a forensic pathologist. These are the medical doctors who conduct the autopsies." In another room of the same facility, a different type of examination is going on. This complex medical procedure is meant to determine the mental state of the victim at the time of his exodus. By carefully removing the cranium, Dr. Howard is able to expose the delicate brain tissues. With steady hands, he gently removes the deceased cerebral matter for closer examination. It is not uncommon for a coroner to be so busy that he has to work through lunch. There can be only one conclusion of this critical analysis. The victim had shit for brains. death occurs by other means. Supernatural means. Take, for instance, this strange case, so utterly bizarre that one can hardly believe that it's true. Scumby from the grave.
Now you're going to see someone killed because of their nasty habits. This man, not a nun's habit, mind you, this man had the habit of doing really incredibly nasty things to elderly women when they didn't want it to be done. I mean, sometimes elderly women pay good money for that. Then we call these men gigolos and we pat them on the back. But what this particular man happens to have done would not be considered a healthy thing by you or me. You see, this man was almost as scary as him. This man was a pervert. He was caught by the police, 18, 19, 20 years ago. And they decided to give him the chair. Approximately 1/2 hour ago, I rushed there to capture that footage.
This is Joe Jagweed. His history of crime was a lengthy one. He spent most of his life in and out of penal institutions. Penal. After a lengthy trial, he was sentenced to death by means of electrocution. he finally committed a crime which would cost him his life. The process is simple. The victim is placed in a chair where electrodes are attached to his legs and head.
You know, you're a real pain in the ass.
Strapped to a seat that he will never leave alive.
Before we fry ya, it's almost lunchtime for me, so I'm just gonna put this TV dinner on your lap. Father, will you do the honors? Go!
The next step, the simple flick of a switch will send a current of 20,000 volts through his body. The room began to smell like burning flesh. A final trickle of blood marks the conclusion of this grotesque process.
Watch the camera. You're dead. Die. Where's your nails?
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna make you live, and I'm gonna kill you again. You're no good. You're a germ.
Drop dead. You got drop dead. Die, so this isn't a waste. Die! We'll miss you, Joe Jagweed. In conclusion, what you have just seen was a collection of all the disgusting, filthy, perverted, sickly-minded things that I ever wanted to show to you. Why you were forced into watching this is your problem. You've seen all sorts of disgusting things in the world of the dead. Now watch how the world of the living reacts to this video. Face the Dead, a Sick Mind production.
There's a little bit of love in every cut of Johnson brand editing.
It's good.